The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with no interest. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to get started today. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guys. Me, really real, villain real, Terrell from Virginia here at your service. And when I'm not out here cashing the Heat series sweep against the Boston Celtics, I'm watching WNBA and I'm getting down on some WNBA bets and sweating some bets that I probably had no business of hitting and other bets that were probably not even close. Scott Studio Right Show. Scott had a good day last time we were on the show. Scott, what's going on?
Doing pretty well. Ended up sweeping last time I was on the show. I had the Sky team total under against the Mystics, and they barely scored. And then I had the Mystics money line parlayed with the under in that game, which actually worked out well because the Mystics ended up not covering, but they won the game. So I picked the right game, I guess, to take the money line on. But overall was solid. Ended up sweeping there. On top of that, the NBA podcast swept that yesterday for Game 7. Caleb Martin, 10-plus rebounds, plus 470. Appreciate it. But besides that, though, I'm wearing my Celtics green for the occasion. And, ready to go through the WNBA games.
And you see here, I'm wearing black because I am pulling up to their funeral just to make sure that they're dead. That's pretty much it. As far as me, the last show,
How about if you sweep it out?
What's the point? I can't do anything right.
You'll be
nope,
fine.
nothing right. Nothing at all.
That's not true.
Yep, there goes Mystics minus 4.5. There it goes.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least you had the Storm.
There goes Storm money line. There it goes. We lose. But unfortunately, somehow, some way, so majority of my bet was on that Storm plus 4.5. But of course, for the show, it's a dog. So I played money line as well. There's no reason that I should have got that Storm plus 4.5.
I was going to say, I for some reason, I thought you had the Storm plus the points and the money line, so it could have been worse for you. You didn't lose everything.
Yeah, no. It's just the two picks that mattered didn't go my way for sure. But Seattle, they didn't give up, and Dallas pretty much let them back into that game. We had a bunch of games over the weekend. Aces had their ring night completely roll over the Sparks in the second game that they played. I played that first quarter again. Glad I did that this time. It was the one that the Aces were able to go out there and kill it. And just make sure you're tapping in. So we're not going to be doing this podcast every single day. It's just a bunch of full transparency. The more we grow this show, the more episodes we able to do a week. So it's not like the NBA show. The NBA shows had so much growth, so much, people listening to the show that we can go 7 days a week of NBA and perfectly fine. However, the WNBA show, we got to get that a little bit closer to that level. So I'm not going to be able to have a show every single day, every single time there's games on. So we missed a pretty good weekend of hoops here, but check out the picks page, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WNBA picks. I'm putting picks up there. Scott, you been putting picks up there?
I've been a little bit lazy with it, but I probably should. So I will.
So me and Scott will have picks up there. I know Dylan Rockford, he puts picks up there. So I think even CJ has WNBA picks as well. So we might have to get CJ on the show one day. But yeah, so we're going to have everybody putting up picks on there. So go out there, check that out, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WNBA picks. Lock into the picks page, hop into the Discord. We talk all the time, answer questions, add late plays in the Discord. So make sure you're in that Discord, sg.pn/Discord. Other than that, Scott, anything else from over the weekend that we really got to hit on? I mean, we had a good amount of games. I think it was about 5 games over the weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't really have much to actually talk about besides the Liberty really looking impressive against Connecticut. So it seems like after the first game struggles against Washington, they finally figured it out. Vandersloot had a double-double. I thought that the Liberty looked really good. That was one of my main takeaways there. Then again, I also root for the team, so that's the first team I'm going to be interested in. But besides that, the Aces killed the Sparks, which didn't totally shock me, but, it is what it is. And, yeah, the Aces are, as far as I'm concerned, the best team in the league right now. Liberty are probably the second best team in the league right now. In other words, I haven't really learned anything. Now, there are a couple of games, a lot of teams involved tonight. You got 8 teams. But the main takeaway that I have so far is that I really was hoping Minnesota wouldn't be this bad. Are they worse than the Fever? I don't know. But Minnesota might be the worst team in the league.
If you were to give me any type of points between Minnesota and the Fever, I'd probably take the points in the Fever.
I probably would too. Shout out to the Fever for winning a game, though. Congrats to them.
First game in 20 games. It
Yeah.
was a 20-game losing streak. Their first win in 20 games. I was on Indiana there, plus 7.5. Small
It's a lot of
sprinkle on the
points
money line.
against a dream team.
Yeah, I took a small sprinkle on the money line. I didn't think that, I really didn't think it was coming through, but I thought, hey, the Dream been a little inconsistent. They could be in it, and sure enough, they get their first win. So shout out to them. The Chicago Sky get yet another win. So they move to, what is this, 3-1 on the season? Yeah, 3-1 on the season for the Chicago Sky.
I was quite wrong
Even
on them
with
preseason.
no Morgan Birch, no Rebecca Gardner. Both of them got
Harrison?
hurt in that Mystics game. Yeah, Harrison's been done for a while. So missed Harrison beginning of the season. You don't have Rebecca Gardner, who was really good for you coming off the bench. Morgan Birch, very good coming for them. I think she was actually starting as well, Morgan Birch, and so she's out as well with the ankle injury. And yet they still put up 94 points on the Dallas Wings. I don't know if that says more about the coaching and the offense of the Chicago Sky than that says about the Dallas Wings defense, but they still put up 94 and get a win over the Wings, 94-88. We're going to talk about them in just a second, but this Chicago Sky team has my eye. I'm not going to ship you out. They are playing great right now.
Yeah, I was dead wrong on that team. I thought that losing their best
Completely
3 players,
wrong.
they wouldn't be able to recover, but they have a great organization, great coaching staff, and apparently that's enough to overcome a potential, say, transition period in terms of talent. But yeah, I think to answer your question, it's a mix between the two. We thought Dallas defensively would be quite underwhelming, which is why we did lean to their win total under when the season started. They've won some games anyway, but they're not stopping anybody. So I'm not sure how sustainable that's going to be with their wins and losses. But the point is, Chicago has been good. I'll give them props there. But my main takeaway there was kind of just waiting to see if any team could potentially challenge the Liberty or the Aces if they are playing at their potential. And the answer is no. I still think it's Aces and Liberty. I do think the Aces are the better team right now. So that would be my power ranking 1 and 2. But I think that's a firm 1 and 2. You?
Yeah. I think it's a firm 1 and 2 with the Connecticut Sun being 3.
Yeah, and the Liberty just
Mystics
beat
at
them.
4.
That's why.
Yeah, Mystics at 4. But I don't think it's that large of a gap though. I think it's a little bit closer. Still, that gap is still pretty narrow. But outside of those 4, I mean, is Chicago not number 5? Like
right now, they probably are. But I'm not picking
listen to
Chicago to
Marina.
suddenly make a dream run, but I have to give them props for being better than I thought they ever would be.
Listen to what Marina Mabry's been doing in the past 2 games. She's had 19 and 23 points on 53 and 41% shooting and a 50% shooting day from 3. Tack on 8 assists, 4 assists, 5 rebounds in both games, a pair of blocks. She's had a block in both games actually, so 3 blocks during that time. Marina Mabry. If you're one of them DFS players or you are
Player props.
fantasy anything, yeah, player props. Marina Mabry is doing the scoring for this team. Again, 19 and 23, and we're going to talk about her. Well, hopefully they got her listed. Sometimes they be playing, but yeah, no, that's a name to watch out for. Marina Mabry's been playing great recently for the Chicago Sky.
Yeah, if I told
All
you
right.
the Sky were going to be 3 and 1, and Kalia Copper was going to be averaging 15.8 points per game on 38.1% shooting, you probably wouldn't have believed me, but that's what's happened. So they've been able to perform well, even with Copper being inefficient. That's one of the most impressive parts, because we assumed going into the year Copper was going to be the main scorer for this team, and she's been inefficient, and they keep winning anyway.
Kalia Copper's averaging 15.8 points. Marina Mabry averaging 15.7. It's insane. Even like you're even getting double digits from Courtney Williams. You're getting double digits from Sika Cone, the center. Man,
They're good.
Man, they're good. Yeah, they're just good, man. They're getting production and they are good. All right. Before we talk about the 4 games, yes, 4 games that are actually playing tonight. Got to talk to you about Edge Boost because Edge Boost is the world's first bet now, pay later Visa card. Similar to buy now, pay later programs, you can double your bet with Edge Boost for no interest. Just pay back the advance over 4 weekly equal installments. And that's right, 0% interest. Simply deposit your funds into your Edge Boost account, and Edge Boost will match your deposit so you can use 2 times the funds on any legal sports betting site. Edge Boost currently offers up to $2,500 in advances. My Edge Boost Double Down play of the day is, I'll tell you about it a little later. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge boost. I'm not Edge Boost, just Edge. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. Must be 21 years or older. Only valid in legal gambling states. Problem gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. Let's see here. 4 games on the slate for a Tuesday in the WNBA. First game up on the docket. We just talked about the Chicago Sky on the road going to play the Atlanta Dream. Line opened up at 3. I've seen it up as high as -4.5. Now it looks like consensus about -3.5 here for the Atlanta Dream. 160.5 is the total. That's been as high as 163. Injury report for these 2 teams, and as I talked about in the lead up to this, Rebecca Gardner and Morgan Birch are both out with foot injuries. They're going to be out for some time. And that's in addition to Isabel Harrison, who we all know is out indefinitely for this team right now. So expect to see the same lineup that the Sky rolled out last game. And for the Atlanta Dream, you have Daniel Robinson, who is going to be out for this game with a knee injury. So I think there's a couple of things to think about. Atlanta can have a very, very proficient offense when they want to. However, this Sky team is really good, man, and they can play both sides of the ball. Are you laying -3.5 with the Atlanta Dream here?
No. I feel like you make the argument they might be in line for a better performance because they just lost to the Fever, but I can't do it. Chicago has found ways to win games. They get depth scoring, which I think is really such an underrated aspect of a good team. Not being top heavy and having a lot of options to pick up the slack. If, for example, Copper is shooting below 39% from the floor, they can win games anyway. Atlanta, I don't think they really have that. Of course, Howard is really good, and you could make an argument she's the best player on the court, but it doesn't really seem like Atlanta has many backup options if Howard has an off game or if one of their star players doesn't exactly play up to par. I'm going to go with Chicago. They've looked good defensively. Offensively, they've looked pretty sharp as well. I think they're the better coach team. They're also undefeated on the road, which is pretty random, but I've so far been impressed by how Chicago's played in opposing arenas. I'm going to go with Chicago plus the points here and potentially the money line. Atlanta, I know the argument is they're at home. They'll be extra motivated after losing to Indiana. I'm more concerned about them actually losing to Indiana. I'm going to take the Sky here. I think getting 3.5 seems pretty generous with what, in my opinion, is the better basketball team right now. So I'm going to take Chicago.
So they gave up 90 points to the Fever, man. 90 to the Fever. I don't even know when's the last time the Fever scored 90 in a game. I'd have to go back to last season. This feels really chalk, but I can't get away from it, man. And you got to have short-term memory when it comes to betting. You really, really do. But they gave up 90 points to the Fever. Like, if they're going to win this game, this has to go scoring high over the total, don't you think?
Total did drop 3 points. And that was one thing I noticed overnight. There's been a lot of under money in a lot of these games, which we're going to get to. But The fact that they're
Mhm.
expecting a lower scoring game, I think definitely benefits Chicago, especially since they're getting points. If you're expecting a lower scoring game, that automatically favors the dog. But I'm going with Chicago here. You mentioned allowing 90 plus points to Indiana. That's not good. And once again, until Atlanta shows me something, mostly stopping anybody, I'm not going to lay 3 points with a team of traffic cones. So I'm going to take the Sky.
Mm, dang, man. I really, really don't want to fade Atlanta on a back-to-back home spot, the first 2 home games of the year. But I mean, they turn the ball over, somewhat inconsistency on offense, and them just trying to figure out what they're doing with this team. I'm gonna just go ahead and stick with my guns. This is Sky plus 3.5. It feels a little bit trappy. I'm not gonna lie.
It does, but I don't trust the dream enough, just simply put. I can't.
Yeah. Why is Atlanta? Why would Atlanta even at home a 3.5 point? Mm,
And Atlanta lost to the Fever at home.
I know, but like, why would you come? So why would you come back and make them a favorite again here?
Well, you mentioned some injuries for Chicago, but maybe they're just expecting some
And that's
regression.
and that's really my concern. But they still scored 90 points on again, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is the offense is their offense just this good? Like, do they just have a good offense, or is it more of the fact of the Wings defense is that bad? Because they should not have scored that many points. And I think that there are going to have some scoring lows with this team. Like Marina Mabrey and Clea Copper can't pull them by themselves. So uh I just know. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just go with Chicago, man. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with Chicago. It is. I don't think that Atlanta should be favored, but that kind of it feels like a trappy spot, and Atlanta's really the right side. But I'm gonna go with my gut, Chicago here. Chicago's a better team. Uh, this total is dropping, but I'm hesitant to take an under.
I think I like the Sky team total over. Offensively, they've been fine. The one bad offensive game was against the Mystics, and there's no shame in that. I mean, the Mystics are a good defensive team. But the
Yeah,
dream going through the numbers here, they played 3 games. They allowed 90 to Indiana, allowed 77 to Minnesota on the road, and they allowed 85 to Dallas in their first game. I really think Chicago can potentially score 80 here. So I'm going to go with the Sky team total over. I like the depth scoring, as I said before. And once again, if you give up 90 to Indiana, I'm not going to suddenly have faith in your defense. So give me the Sky team total over as my total
yeah, I
play
like
for
it
the game.
sitting there. I see it at 78.5 minus 110. I like that.
They scored
They
94 last game against Dallas. Like, they can score.
Yeah, I mean 94 is good regardless. Like
Yeah.
against whoever, you get to 90 and you had a really really good offensive day. But my concern is I don't want that to just been a day where everything was falling and then they come back here and they're about that 70 territory. That I kind of expected them to be at with the players that they had missing, and now those players are missing, and so it's like I think there's going to be scoring lows for Chicago, and that's the only thing that I kind of hesitate with not taking the dream here is because I think the dream can capitalize on those type of scoring lows. Maybe I'll take a dream first half. I might actually take a dream first half play. You got to come out and bounce back really good after losing to the Fever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I'll take a dream first half minus 1.5 at minus 115. I think and we've seen Chicago be able to battle back in games and become more resilient rather than always playing with a lead like they played from behind. I think they were behind majority of that Dallas game actually, and so yeah, I will take an Atlanta Dream. I take the Atlanta Dream here. First half minus 1.5. I like that. Total. So you're yeah, we're both on that team total over. If I had to pick a full total, I'm probably going over because I think Atlanta will be in it and will be able to capitalize some of those spots. Even though the total has dropped, I understand why it's dropped. Unders have been doing really, really well in W to start the season. I'm going to over 160.5 here. I think it's like a middle ground in between there. Probably comes in 161, 162.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably going to be close, but I think I'm going to lean I don't even know what I guess I'm leaning over, but once again, I don't have a strong opinion on the total. I feel better about Chicago.
All right. Player props. We have props all over. I'm pulling props from Underdog. So I mean I got props galore to throw out there.
I mean, I'm not going against Mabry.
16 and a half.
I mean, sure.
She's cashed in the last two games. Like I told you, 19 and 23. It's been really, really good. Rebounds is at 4.5. Assists is at 4. She's hit the assist mark in every game. Well, those past two games that I was talking about. I'm trying to think. Is it the Alicia Gray or is it the Ryan Howard game or somewhat collection of both?
Probably a collection of both if you think they keep it close, but it's really a tough call. I might maybe be tempted by I'm trying to think. Are you maybe tempted by like Gray assists or something? Maybe
I mean,
rebounds
she's
for
had
her. I don't have the props
rebounding.
in front of me,
She's been really good rebounding to start the season. I
yeah.
think she leads the team in rebounding. Actually, she does.
She's averaging
lead
7
the
per
team in
game.
rebounding.
So
Yeah, she leads the team in rebounding. I know she had a double game in there against the the Lynx. I think it was the Lynx. Yeah, it was the Lynx. Yeah, had a double against the Lynx. Only 4 rebounds against that Indiana team, but 7 before that. And so, what's her rebounds prop at? I see it at 6.5. So you gotta get to 7.
that's what she's averaging. I mean,
yeah.
I don't mind
But
that.
and the fun thing about these props is that I don't think the books are really like a lot of books are really caught up to them. And so you can get some easy lines by them putting at what a lot of people averages are, and they typically go over their average. So I think Alicia Gray rebounds prop is pretty solid, especially with Danielle Robinson being out as well.
I think I also have to take Copper over. I see Copper points at 17.5. I mentioned the shooting percentage before, below 39%, yet she's still averaging north of 16 points. If she even bumps up to a mediocre shooting game, she's dropping 20. Like, the volume's been there. We've roasted Atlanta's defense for being a bunch of traffic cones so far this season. So I'm expecting Chicago to score. So if I got to go by that logic, I'm going with the volume. I'll take Copper over 17.5. That line feels a bit low.
All right, I'm gonna play it. I don't know why I'm playing it, and it doesn't honestly make much sense. And it looks like that they're starting to catch up to her. But if you can find any type of line on Courtney Williams rebounds, play them and just do it. She's average. She leads this team in rebounding as a guard with 8.3 rebounds. Here are her first 4 games rebounding: 7, 6, 9, 11.
That's consistent.
What? Like she just finds the ball. Like she puts up numbers. Like she has even an assist mark 4, 7, 5, 5. She got 12 points and at least 12 points in the last 3 games. What's her points, rebound, and assist mark?
I don't see it. I mean, you're an Underdog. I don't see it on any.
Yeah, I
of the
see
other
it. 23 and a half.
Okay.
23 and a half. So she's cashed that in 3 straight games. So since the first game of the season, she's cashed that in 3 straight games. I mean, she's going to be on the court more because you don't have Rebecca Gardner to come take minutes. You don't have Mo Burst to come take minutes. Kind of doing a rotation with Courtney Williams, Marina Mabry, Dana Evans. But, like, that's about it for your – like, that's about it outside of Kalia Copper. Like, that is about it. You don't really have any much more rotation. So Courtney Williams is going to be on the court all the time. Why would she not be able to stack up a stat sheet like she's been doing? So, yeah, give me Courtney Williams over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
All right. Anything else for this game?
No, not really.
All right. Before we get to the rest of the games, got to talk to you about the NBA Finals contest because we here on the NBA Gambling Podcast have another finals contest for you. You can select series props. You can select game props. You can select all of that stuff. And guess what? If you are the winner with the best overall record, you will win a $100 SGPN gift card. Just go to the SGPN app and enter today. You have to download our app, sg.pn/app, to enter that contest for a $100 gift certificate to our merch store. All right, let's move on. Next game of the slate, we have the Indiana Fever coming off of a win. They have a winning streak. It is a 1-0 winning streak for the Indiana Fever. Now they're going into Mohegan Sun to play the Connecticut Sun, who are 3-1 on the season, opened up as a 13.5-point favorite. They are now down to 12.5. Total opened up 160.5. It is down to 157.5. Injury report for these two teams, and we have for the Connecticut Sun, nothing to report. They are completely healthy, and pretty much same thing for the Indiana Fever as well. Nothing new on that note. So, are you laying 12.5 points against the Indiana Fever?
I don't think I'm going to, because this is actually the second meeting this season. They faced off
Yes,
in
it is.
Indiana on the 19th. Connecticut won, but they won by 9. Really, really ugly game. Game landed 131. Nobody could hit a shot. But Indiana hung in there. And I think that even though Connecticut was having a good start to the year, and I know they got buried over the weekend against the Liberty, but I think I am going to lean to Indiana here. The only concern would be that the one road game they played recently was, well, they beat Atlanta, but their first road game against a quality team, the Liberty, were up 30 at halftime, basically. But I am going to lean to Indiana. It makes sense this line has dropped from 13.5 to 12.5. I think Connecticut's going to win. I'm not picking Indiana to win back-to-back games. Let's not get crazy here. But I am going to go with Connecticut to win, but kind of let Indiana hang around a little bit. Maybe Indiana's got a decent amount of confidence. I'm sure some of the players on the roster forgot how to win, so it probably feels good to enter the locker room off a win. I'm going to go with Indiana plus the points, but I'm not picking them to win the game. I am going to lean to the under, though. I think that Indiana's offense was mostly based off of Atlanta's defense being atrocious. Defensively, they were not good against the Liberty. Then again, Breanna Stewart had 45 points, so that happened. But still, I think I'm going to lean to the under, mostly because they're expecting, based on where this total's located, a 27-point increase from what we saw in the first meeting this season. That's a little bit too high for me. I'm going to lean to the under, and I'm going to take the points.
Yeah, I'm taking the points as well. And this Indiana team is going to be scrappy. I've been calling for it, and I said that they were going to be like this all year. And that's
I don't think they're going to be good, but I think they're going to sneak up on some teams. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and they're gonna go out there and they're gonna steal a couple of games like they did with Atlanta on the road. And it only takes for all your shots to be hitting one day for you to get a win. That's it. You just got to hit your shots one day, and you can get a win that day. It don't have to happen for the entire season, but I think they could string along some wins here. Now, am I calling for them outright on the money line here against the Connecticut Sun? Especially with the Sun after coming off of a blowout loss to the Liberty? Not necessarily, but I think that they can make it close. I think this Sun team has definitely had moments over the start of this season where they're 3-1, where they definitely had scoring lulls, even in that first game against the Fever, and let the Fever battle back in there. And now I'm expecting to see a better game. I think Aaliyah Boston has gotten a lot better reps in her. She's going to be looking a lot better. See Kelsey Mitchell get her legs under her. Hopefully she can start being more consistent. Alyssa Smith is building off of what she did in Athletes Unlimited this past summer. So I think that there's a lot of options here for this Indiana Fever team, and they could keep this one close, especially with both of these two teams running. The Sun have the second slowest pace in the league, and the Fever have the 5th. So, expecting to see a slowed down game. I like the under there. 157.5, under 157.5. Give me the Indiana Fever plus 12.5. So I will take both of those. Props in this one. Anything that you see that catches your eye?
If I had to go with anything in particular, it would probably just be looking at some Connecticut props, either on the glass or just with regard to actual points, because I still don't think Indiana's a good defensive team. Don't get me wrong. I understand they won a game, but it was a high-scoring game. They gave up 90 to the Liberty. but I think the Liberty only scored 6 points in the entire fourth quarter because they pulled everybody. So they might have given up like 110 in that game. Bonner's been really good for Connecticut so far this season. So I am tempted by her props. I do think that she can potentially have a double-double in this game. But Bonner's at 17.5, which feels about right. I see that Boston's rebounds are at 6.5. Does that feel a little bit low to you?
Yeah, I feel like it is.
Because
Let
somebody's
me
going to
go
have to
back.
rebound for this team. And after they just won a game, Boston had 7 rebounds the last game in 26 minutes. She's averaging 6.7. She had 9 rebounds in the first meeting against Connecticut in 24 minutes. And she fouled out. So she played 24 minutes, fouled out, and still had 9 rebounds. I'm
Mhm.
on Boston over rebounds. 6.5
And
feels
and
too low.
I understand why she wasn't able to rebound against that New York team because all the shots went in. Every
Yeah,
shot went
pretty
in. You
much.
didn't get opportunity on the defensive glass there. So I think that maybe this is them trying. Like I think that's just a line that they haven't caught up with. She's definitely better than 6.5. Her rebounds probably should be at 7.5. To be honest.
After
So I
9 in the
think we're.
first meeting? I mean, there were a lot of misses, though, so you can argue it balances out because, once again, that game
But
landed
I think it's still going to be.
131.
I think it's still going to be some misses here. Like I think the
Yeah.
defensive intensity. I don't think the Fever are a bad defensive group. Like that's the thing. I think they're okay. I don't
I
think
think
they're
they
a
were
bad
worse
defensive
last
group.
year defensively. Let's put it that way.
100%. And so I like it. I'm playing it. I see it at -115. I'm playing it over 6.5. Everybody's. I think you're looking the wrong way. People are looking the wrong way there. But the first bet that I'm placing, and that I'm always going to place, especially if they continue to give us these low numbers on it, because she is effectively the point guard for her team, Alyssa Thomas over 5.5 assists. We cashed the first 2 games. She had 5 assists in the second game against the Washington. She only had 2 in that last one in a very, very underwhelming game against the Liberty. I think this isn't enough. Even though I think that the Fever defense is okay, I still think Alyssa Thomas is going to put herself in a situation to make the right move and get a lot of assists on this team. Over 5.5. I'm playing it again. I think she's well above this average. And I think at one point, maybe even last year, she was getting like 7.5 on the assist prop. So I think we're stealing.
Yeah, I agree with you on the over. My favorite prop's going to be Boston and rebounds.
Yep. Like both of those. All right. Anything else?
No.
Give me a Kelsey Mitchell game. 15,
Okay.
15.5. I'll take Kelsey Mitchell game. She has a good game of scoring the basketball. All right. Next game on the slate, we have the Minnesota Lynx going to play the Dallas Stars. The Lynx still trying to get their first win, 0-4 on the season. Stars opened up
I think you
as
mean the Dallas Wings, but close enough.
the Lynx are what?
You said Dallas Stars. I think you meant Wings.
Oh, did I say Stars? Oh,
You said
wow.
Stars. I didn't know you
They're
followed
not even in
hockey.
the playoffs anymore.
Yeah, they
Hey,
lost 6-0
it's
yesterday.
new. Hey, new to everybody that I follow hockey. Oh wow! All right, Dallas Wings and the Minnesota Lynx. Lynx still trying to get their first win of the season. 0-4 on the season. Wings opened up a -5.5 point favorite. They are now up to -6.5. 167.5 is the total injury report here for these two teams. And Tierra McCowan is questionable for this game with the Dallas Wings. We know Diamond DeShields is out indefinitely. Lou Lopez is out as well indefinitely. And for the Minnesota Lynx, you have Caleb McBride, who is questionable with personal reasons. All right. I mean, now the line is 6.5.
I'm on the over. I don't trust either defense to do anything in this game. So I see a lot of points here. I know it's a high total, but Minnesota lost their last game against Vegas by 21. Vegas was on a back-to-back and scored 94 points. How does that happen? Give up 94 points and their team's on a back-to-back and you're not? I got to go with
Pure
the over
talent.
here.
Pure talent.
I was going to say, I don't trust either defense, though. Do you? Even with Dallas's wins, they're giving up a bunch of points.
Yeah, no, I don't. And that's why I'm trying to convince myself on. I mean, can this be a high scoring game for Minnesota? Because, I mean, so Nafisa Collier has been great. She's been able to go out there basically averaging a double double.
Mhm.
Diamond Miller while she's been putting up some numbers, I don't think she's gotten over 40% in a game yet.
I'm not sure if she has either.
Let me double check that. But she's taking the attempts, and that's the thing that really, really interests me. So yeah, listen to her season thus far. 3 for 9, 3 for 10, 2 for 9, 4 for 10. She hasn't gotten over 40%. That was the best in her last game, where she had a really, really good second half. I think it was even I don't know if it was the third or fourth quarter, but she had a really good second half against the Aces, where she kept seeing the ball go in the basket. But with these attempts, if the Wings let these go in, she's gonna have a really, really good game. That's gonna add on Nafisa Collier, and then sprinkle in some Jessica Shepard in there down low to be able to help scoring Tiffany Mitchell. She's a guard that can score coming out of South Carolina. Yeah, man, we got to be on the over.
I think I have to.
I mean,
just looking
give
at
me the Lynx team total over.
Dallas is allowing 87.7 points per game. Minnesota's allowing 86 points per game. But Dallas is averaging 89.3 points per game, which means the average Wings game is totaling roughly 177. I'm going with the over.
Yeah, over 167.5. Give me Minnesota team total over. Let me get you a number for that. Minnesota's team total over is 80.5. Dallas already pulls you straight up to scoring 80 points. Yep. All right, I'll take Minnesota over 80.5. I am. Minnesota can score 85, but Dallas can score 90 easily.
I was really torn.
I'll take Minnesota plus 6.5. I'll take Minnesota plus 6.5. I just can't.
I was going to say, I was initially leaning to Dallas, but now that it's at 6.5, I'm not sure if I actually want it. So that's why the first thing I said was the total. Just give me the over. I'll fade both defenses.
I'm just going to go back to that Storm game. There's no reason the Storm could. If you didn't see the end of that Storm Wings game, please go back and look it up. There's no reason we should have cashed Storm plus 4.5.
They gave up 91 points to the Storm.
Yeah, I don't even know why. Honestly, I'm sorry, everybody. I have no idea why I was hesitant. There's no way I'm laying points with Dallas after what they did to the Storm. I don't care.
I'm just taking the over. I'll make it easy on myself.
All right, plus 6.5 over player props. They've now moved Nafisa Collier to 18.5. People, not scared. Give me Nafisa Collier over 18.5.
Do you think Agumbawale should be at 26.5? Because she's been like exactly on that number in the first 3 games. Had 27 last game, 26 the game before that, and 27 in the first game against Atlanta. She's playing a bunch of minutes. She's played 39 minutes in 2 of the first 3 games. Do you think there's value maybe going with the contrarian under, or no? Because if it's going over, Agumbawale is going to score like 30 points.
I'm not gonna do it, because if she doesn't score those points, it's not going over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's very, very bad as well. So I think she's while she's out there, she's gonna take the attempts. Like she's gonna she's gonna have 20 plus shot attempts, like always. And so I'm not, especially with what I've seen from this Minnesota Lynx, I'm not gonna take the chance on the under here. Maybe if I can get her like against somebody that I feel is a little bit sneaky good defensively. Like, like if she was going up against the Sky again, or like if she was going up against like the Sun. I don't think the Sun are getting as much nod as their defense. Like maybe something like that, I would look for an under, but not this Minnesota team, not right now. So
I'll tell you my favorite prop in this game, though. My favorite prop is Jessica Shepard over 3.5 assists. I know she's the starting center, but I got to read off these assist numbers for Shepard because this number's way too low at 3.5. So she had 7 in the season opener against Chicago, had 4 against the Dream, had 2 against Phoenix, not great against Griner, not exactly the best matchup there, and had 7 last game against Vegas. Her number's at 3.5. She's had 7 assists in 2 of the first 4 games. 3.5? Yeah. I got to take the over there. That number's way too low for a game that might get into the 180s. Like, if I told you that it got into the 180s, I think it would be not as surprising as you might think. I got to go with the over for assists because I think you're going to see a bunch of points.
Give me
3.5?
Diamond Miller. Give me Diamond Miller over 11.5 too. I think that I understand why it's that low, and it's because she's only averaging 11 on the season. But I'm telling you, she's taking those attempts. She's got almost 10 shot attempts in every single game. She averages 9.5 shot attempts per game. And look, 13, 14 in the last game, 13 before that, and then first two games 9 and 8. I think she's moving up and not backwards. I think she's moving forward, not backwards. And so, shooting percentage a little bit better, still not where we want it to be, but she was 4 for 10 that last game. I think that this is the game where she sees them all go in the basket. I'm going Diamond Miller over 11.5 points as well. All right. Let's see here. Anything else for this game?
No, not much. I like overs for stuff because I think the whole game turns into an absolute shootout. So, yeah, give me the over on a bunch of stuff.
And we saved the best for last with the New York Liberty going to play the Seattle Storm. Seattle also still chasing their first one on the season. Liberty opened up as a 14.5 point favorite, still at 14.5. 164.5 is the total. That's come up 4 points. Injury report for these two teams and for the New York Liberty. Maria Johannes is probable for a return coming back from overseas. She is probable to play in this game. No injuries for the Seattle Storm. So what I will say about the Liberty is defensively, they have not always looked the part the entire game. However,
They did this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely against the Sun. They cleared 16.5 versus the Fever, if we want any type of indication of how they might play this game.
It should have been more because they won by 17, but once again, they benched every starter for every minute of the fourth quarter. They were literally up 30 at the half.
And so, but that's the concern.
Yeah.
Do they go up so much that they bench every starter in the return of Breanna Stewart?
That was also a home game. So, now they're traveling to Seattle, but Seattle's been terrible everywhere. So I'm not sure if that actually matters. But
do they call off the dogs here? Do they give Seattle an out? I think that's really the conversation to be had. I think that I know that I'm just going to go ahead and take a bet on the Liberty first half. And
my favorite play in this game is Breanna Stewart over 23.5 points.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and take a play on the Liberty first half. But in terms of the full game, do they ease up?
They might. I think I still have to lean to the Liberty, though. But then again, you made a good point with how badly they played in the fourth quarter and how you always have to worry about garbage time if you're laying a massive number like this. But the Liberty just kicked Connecticut's ass over the weekend. They killed Indiana the game before that. I think they're going to bury this team, most likely. And I think Breanna Stewart probably has 30 points again. So I'm on Liberty. I'll lean to the Liberty team total over as well. I like the over in general because Seattle doesn't guard anybody and they play fast as hell. So I like the over in the game. But if they could give me alternative player props and I could take like 30-plus points like it was the NBA, I would take Stewart in a heartbeat. She literally had 45 against Indiana. If she wants to, in her old stadium where she's going to have her jersey retired at some point, she's going to drop 30 if she wants to. She could drop 35 if she wants to. And even last game against Connecticut, she only had 21 points, but the stat line was actually nuts. She had 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 steals, 4 blocks. She was 1 block away for a 5x5. How often do you see that?
Yeah, no, I mean,
she would be my vote for MVP if I had a vote right now. So I think Stewart goes crazy tonight. Give me the over on Breanna Stewart points.
All right. I'm with you. You're not going to get a return to Seattle under for me from Breanna Stewart. I think this is just scoring all the way around, honestly. I think that the Liberty let Seattle score, but it's because the fact that they probably tried to go put up close to 100 points like the Aces did when they came to town.
If I
Like this
told you the
could
Liberty
be
scored 95, would you be shocked? No.
no. So just give me the over 164.5. I know we have the butt end of the number here, 4 points of movement. Honestly, I don't think it's many people that got 116.5. Truly, I don't think
Yeah.
it's a lot of people that did. I think that they probably took one bet and then pushed it up. So you probably weren't getting that number anyway. But I still like an over here, over 164.5. And with that over, I'll take New York Liberty to just clear this and give me minus 14.5 with the Liberty as well. You like Breanna Stewart.
I think I have
I
to.
will see your Breanna Stewart prop that I do like as well. And I will also call with Jewel Lloyd over 23.5. Because I think Jewel Lloyd's going to come out here and do what she always does, which is be a very, very good scorer, like very, very prolific, proficient scorer. I think that she's gonna see Breanna Stewart on the other side, and it's gonna evoke something. Like this isn't just Breanna Stewart coming home. This is this team saying that hey, we can still get it done without her. Like we can still play a certain level of hoops without her. So guys knew I was taking Jewel Lloyd. I'm always gonna bet Jewel Lloyd. Jewel Lloyd over 23.5. Let's see. What
I don't
else
think I
do
have
we
much
have
else.
here?
I mean, do you want to get cute and take like the Storm team total over 74.5?
What does that add up to? If they
Well,
go
they have the
over,
Liberty at 89.5, so the Storm at 74.5. You make an argument it's
so
not bad because Seattle score and they just can't stop anybody. Or they scored the last game. The first game against the Aces, they got buried from start to finish. So
yeah, give me Seattle over 74.5.
that feels a little bit low for a home team.
And the math checks out, especially where I feel like this with this team, they're gonna let them get some easy. Like this is gonna come in that second half, where they're gonna allow them to have some easy buckets. Not even really. We may be sweating this. Like they may finish with 77, 78, 79. Like we may be sweating this at the end, but I think that for the most part of the game, they're just going to get a lot of easy stuff that the Liberty just don't care to defend because they're up 20 at this point. So I like that. Give me who else? Jocko Jones. I see Jocko Jones at 10 points. I'll take an over on Jocko Jones to get over 10 this game. I think that down low, she will have the advantage and be able to score. It's really tough with the super teams and just deciding who's going to score a lot. But we saw an Aces team come in here and everybody was able to score. So I think Jocko Jones can get to 10. And if I think that Jocko Jones and a lot of this Liberty team is scoring, I'm going to take Courtney Vandersloot over 7 assists. I think that's a great play.
She had a double-double last game. So
yeah,
no
and
argument
she
for me.
always has the ball in her hand. Like Sabrina Ionescu plays off ball, and she may bring the ball up when the second unit is in, but it's Courtney Vandersloot when this starting unit is on the court, and she's running the offense, and she's getting everybody else involved. So love Sloot's 7 assists.
I'm with you there.
All right. Let's see here. Anything else for this game before we move on?
No, I don't have anything else.
All right. Before we do lock and dog, I gotta give out my Edge Boost double down play of the day. And I'm going with you, Scott. Edge Boost double down play of the day. Breanna Stewart over 23.5 points. Whether it's in isolation, whether she's playing off ball and cutting to the basket, whether she's getting it from the free throw line. She
Their
has
team
found
total's
ways to
89.5.
everywhere.
89.5 is the team total. They're expecting the Liberty to score 90. If they score 90, Stewart's going to score at least 25.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Breanna Stewart over 23.5. Even if this game gets, like, she's going to continue to play as much as she can in this game. She's going to play in the fourth quarter. Like, she's not taking a whole quarter off being back in Seattle and robbing the Seattle fans of seeing her play, 3 quarters instead of 4. She's playing every single quarter. So, Edge Boost double down play of the day. Breanna Stewart over 23.5 points, minus 110. And make sure you go to sportsgamingpodcast.com/edge to sign up. Make sure you go sign up. Go sign up. Do that. You're getting double Like you're getting double your deposit, and you got to pay it back over 4 weeks. So you can take that and you can grow your bankroll and you can pay back the loan. That's it. Like that's it. 0% interest. Don't have to worry about it. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. All right. Lock and dog time. Feel like we need to switch the mojo up. I've been bad. Scott, you go first.
All right. So I was looking at a couple of player props. Truth is, the dog is the tricky part for me because the only dog I really liked was Chicago. So I was trying to find some type of same game parlay or something, but I wasn't sure how much I actually liked either. So I think I'm going to give out 2 locks, which I feel good about. I was wishing one of them would be at plus money, but unfortunately they're not. I am going to go with the Breanna Stewart over 23.5 points, which is my favorite play there for the lock. Simply put, she's going to play a bunch of minutes. She's in her old, uh, arena where she won a championship. She won an MVP or two. She's been the best player in the league, in my opinion, for a while. Maybe not anymore, but I still think she is personally. She's averaging 26 points per game. She dropped 45 points against the only bottom feeder she faced so far this season. And once again, she's in her old home arena, so I think she's going to put up a massive stat line here. Give me Breanna Stewart over 23.5. I mentioned before I like Shepard over 3.5 assists. However, not anymore because FanDuel moved it to 4.5. So I'm not taking that anymore. For my dog, I am going to go with the Sky on the money line. Simply put, I didn't really have any other options, but I am going to go with the Sky because Atlanta just lost to Indiana at home. They can't guard anybody. Chicago has been very solid. They have depth scoring. They've been really, really good at a lot of different positions. And Atlanta has a lot of talent at the guard position with Gray, with Howard. But it does seem like chemistry's been a bit off so far when you bring in such a ball-dominant player like Gray. And it does seem like that's going to take some time to go. I'm not going to compare it to the Hawks, even though they are from the same city. It does have that kind of DeJounte Murray, Trae Young feel to it, where they're not sure what either player is supposed to do and they don't have the ball in their hands, and it's going to take a little while for them to figure it out. But I'm going to go with the Sky money line. They're the better team, and they're getting plus 140. Give me the Sky money line as my dog.
All right. I will take let's go with that Minnesota team total over and trusting them that this Dallas Wings defense is really bad and they give up a bunch of points. And so I'm giving Minnesota over 80.5 minus 112. I think that Diamond Miller is going to add some contribution scoring the basketball. She's going to be doing a lot better. So I'll take Minnesota over 8.5 to score. Kind of want to take the money line, honestly.
You said that was minus 112, right?
Yeah, minus 112.
Okay, cool.
Let's go for my dog. To
Sky
money line.
Double dog?
Double dog it. I don't want to double dog it. No. So I'm going to do a parlay. And I will take. Do we just go with 2 late game overs? I think so. I
thought about taking an alt over for that Wings game, but the number's so high that I just felt like I couldn't do it. But I do think that game probably.
I mean, you said 177 was average.
I was going to say, I think it does get into the 170s. So.
All right, so let's go with 2 over parlay. We'll take the over in the Wings and the Lynx game and the over in the Liberty and the Storm game. That pays out plus 270.
And you said the Liberty Storm game, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
sorry,
there we go.
All
right.
Over, you said it was plus 270.
Yes, plus 270 over in the Dallas Wings and Lynx and the Liberty and the Storm. So, everybody, we got some more people in the chat this time. It was fun. It was great. We had, we got some picks. I'm looking for picks. Let's see. Fahrenheit said Shepard over 8.5 rebounds. I like that. She's definitely been on the glass. Nelisa Smith. Yeah, I love Nelisa Smith. I think she does have a good game as well. I like that. I like that Indiana play. I might have a play on the Fever for myself personally. I like that Indiana play. I think they're in this game. All right. Randy checking into the chat for the first time. Great to have him here. Trevor's story, seeing him, glad he's taking some time off from Red Sox when the Red Sox come out here and hang out with us. Alan, don't remember seeing Alan before. Alan's down here checking us out. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Make sure if you're not already that you are subscribed not only to the NBA Gambling Podcast, just so you can get these live streams, but make sure you're subscribed to us on wherever you get your podcast, WNBA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you go there, subscribe, leave a review. All of that stuff really, really helps us in the future. I really don't have anything else to add here. He's at Rochelle Radio. I'm at really real __. We shall be back later this week. Let me just go ahead and double check the schedule.
Well, while you pull that up, a reminder, we will be having an NBA show tonight at around 7 o'clock for the NBA Finals. You're going to be on that, right?
Yeah, I should be.
Yeah, so we'll be there for that. I know later on this week, we're both going to do a Coach of the Year preview stuff for the NFL. So we got some award stuff coming up in the NFL. So we got a couple of podcasts together later this week. And of course, we have the WNBA episodes later this week as well.
All right. And so probably be back on Thursday. On Thursday, previewing the Friday slate. We got 4 games on a Friday. So we'll probably be back Thursday or Friday morning, one or the other. Just make sure you hit subscribe and you get notification. You'll see when we post the room and everybody come in and lock in with us. Other than that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just got in like this. We are out of here.